All right, boys, I'm back with an update to my Railgun Mercenary build. I'm going to throw up some clips on the screen real quick of it just wrecking. Yeah, I'm not gonna go like crazy like the last video was like 30 minutes. I'm gonna keep this as short as possible. I'm gonna have a build guide up on whatever website it is. I'll make it while this video renders. But look, level 73. I'm on tier 3 maps. I think I've done a 4 and a 5. Got some things going, but basically here, yeah. So I won't have like a leveling guide, but when you get to the end or Act 2 Cruel, you can start bringing this build online. Let me show you the biggest changes. The biggest changes right now is with the actual railgun. You see how quickly I can walk while I have it now? So if I take this skill gem off, I take mobility off. Now watch when I power it up. See how slow I walk? You see the difference? So this was one of the biggest changes. So when I put that on, I can basically backpedal monsters now. Like if they're coming for me, I can backpedal and then just blast them, right? That's one of the biggest changes I've done. I have some other things. I'm not gonna. I just need some more nodes, right? But I'm gonna be changing some things that are on like galvanic shards. Or is it galvanic shards? I'm gonna be changing 2 of these gems and putting it over onto Plasma Blast. And then obviously I need the 4 and the 5 slots to really bring this build online. But for now, it's clearing maps, no big deal. I couldn't level up Herald of Thunder for the longest time. I finally got a 15 Spirit Gem. I think it scales. I think you have to have a certain amount of dexterity, and like for Herald of Ash, I think I'm gonna have to have a certain amount of strength to level that up. But as you see, my attack damage is 199. It was level 7 for literally all of this time, and I got a Spirit Gem, and I looked, and I was finally able to upgrade it. 199% damage. I got a 99% damage increase. So if you're having issues leveling up your Herald skills, just know that you're gonna need whatever it is. Like this one's strength. It says level 36, 83 strength. This one says level 64, 146 dex. You're gonna need to pump to really get it up there, okay? So let's get into a crossbow shot. It doesn't seem like gems matter in this thing. I've had them there for a long time. You can pull them out, doesn't matter. So we're gonna start with Plasma Blast here, okay? What I have is Scatter Shot to give the 3 beams. I have Inevitable Critical which every second up to 4 seconds, it'll be a critical. And then I have mobility. We do less damage, but we have 40% less movement speed. Now this is our big blast that basically guarantees a shock or electrocute on enemies, especially bosses and uniques. And I have something I need to test once I get more gem slots, but basically I'm going to make this so it's my guaranteed shock electrocute. And then there's some passive skill trees that I still need. I'm gonna need like 16 more levels to get this thing where I really want it, and then it's just extra from there. But basically there's some nodes that will give you 90% extra duration of shock on top of a skill gem, which I have here, which is 100% increased shock duration. So you're talking about 190% increase to the shock duration. It should be between 13 to 15 seconds. And with shock lasting that long, and we switch to shock burst rounds, you're gonna kill it before you're just gonna be able to kill it. Because right now it's kind of, you get shock on, you got 4 to 6 seconds with how it's set up. You can't get a boss down in that time, and you got to go from there. So I'm working on making this build so that you come in, plasma blast, they're shocked for around 15 seconds, and you just blast them down and they're dead and they don't stand a chance. So that's my goal. I have ideas, I have a bunch of notes, we'll get there. Okay, so plasma blast, scatter shot, inevitable critical, mobility. We're gonna switch some things around. Keep that in mind. Emergency reload, use this before you use the shock burst rounds. Okay, now with this I have premeditation, I have persistence, and I have ingenuity. Okay, that's what I got for that. I'm not gonna have to use these anymore, but I just threw them on there because I had just the regular explosion grenades and I wasn't using them in this. You know, I can throw it down and it contributes to electrocution build up. So I just have neural overload, which I'm pretty sure I'm gonna move this to something else. Yeah, I'm gonna move this to galvanic charge eventually, and I have second wind for now. I don't really use this at all. Gas grenade, if you want to do armor break, throw it in there. You're not going to need it, but you know, if you want to right now, it doesn't hurt. So I have gas grenade, I have corrosion, bursting plague, deadly poison, herald of thunder. This is big. This is your map clear, this is your mob clear. Now, like I said, I just was able to level it to 15. My dex is 154, so I was able to bump this up, and my attack damage went from 100 to 199%. It is absolutely devastating now. I have lightning infusion, leverage, and I have life drain on it. So when this culls enemies, we get that life back. Now I do still have 10 spirit points, so I can put another level 1 support gem either in here or Herald of Ash when I get it. So Herald of Ash, basically this is, they ignite on overkill damage and they explode. I have magnified effect, precision, and vitality. Now the Herald skills, while these are active, you get buffs. So with this, I have a constant 1% life regen. My life is 1300 right now, so that means I get what, 10.3 life regen from this alone, just passive, because it's always on. 30% increased accuracy rating while this is on. It's always on, and so those are big. And then galvanic charge, you're gonna just blast this. Now I've changed some things. I'm gonna change, I think, these two. I might not have, it depends on how, because the shock buildup with plasma blast is really, like, it always shocks the enemy. So I'm thinking of moving lasting shock and conduction over there. There is a skill that I want to put on here that it's like, it's something like it reduces the shock chance by 25%. Oh, this one. This is the one I want to move up, but it increases the shock duration plus what's on the passive skill tree to give me, like I was saying, around that 15 second. So I don't know if I'm going to need to move conduction up there or not. I'll have to test it with bosses, but I feel like some of the end game bosses I'm probably going to need a bigger chance, but that's something I have to check. if it doesn't always guarantee shock, I will move this up there. So that's going to free up 2 spots, and then we'll have a third. I'm not going to give you guys exactly what I'm going to do with this yet. You'll just have to come back for the final build video. But as of right now, I have lasting shock, conduction, primal armament, and fork. Fork is big with this one. So once you're shooting your charge and it hits an enemy, it splits into 2 and then goes off and hits enemies again. 50% less damage. That's fine. You're just looking to shock and electrocute as many enemies as you can. You can blast galvanic shards literally the full screen and it'll still electrocute, and then the Herald of Thunder comes down. You know, I used to have the 25% bonus if they were close. I don't really worry about that anymore. Hailstorm rounds, it's just kind of sitting there. I don't use it, honestly. I lied. So I have a passive now, which gives me 25% increased damage with crossbows for each type of ammunition fired in the past 10 seconds. So I have this, and I'll blast it, and then I'll switch real quick, and that gives me, like, if I'm outside of a boss room, I'll blast this, and then I'll switch ammo and run to the boss room, and that just gives me an automatic 25% increase to damage. And just a simple way to boost it real quick. So if you do want to have that for that, I got Cold Infusion and Frost Nexus on it. And then Shock Burst rounds. I need more gem slots for this. I have some ideas. Right now I have a 15 on the skill tree, 15% chance to not consume a bolt. There is a unique crossbow that is 100% chance to not consume a bolt when you've reloaded. But I believe that's only going to take effect for 1 bolt. And I'd rather have all the stats that you get from a rare crossbow. But there's also a gem that gives, I think it's called like ammunition or something. It gives you a 30% chance to not consume a bolt. So this is our bread and butter. This is our damage dealer. If I'm going to put the ammunition on here eventually, and that gives us, like I said, 45% chance to not consume a bolt. And these blast fast. I think I have 16 rounds. So if I can proc near a 50% boost, you're looking at, on average, 24 rounds instead of 16. And if we look here at the advanced tooltip, where'd it go? Screwed it up. Projectile, not a lot of damage. You look at the pulse damage, 28,000 DPS per second. It is absolutely brutal. But this, you have to shock or electrocute the enemy for this damage to get out there. If you're just blowing it before you shock or electrocute, it does nothing. It just does no damage. So, but this is what I got on there. Martial tempo. This alone bumps up your DPS because you're getting more attack speed. I think the base attack speed is like 450. So this puts it at like 562.5 or something. I got heft. Heft is big. Supporter skills have 30% more maximum physical damage. Now, all of our physical damage converts. So if you look here, do it from here, converts 40% of physical damage to lightning damage. And when you're in pulse, converts 100% of physical damage to lightning damage. So we're getting a guaranteed 30% increase. Now, if you put these on and you want to look to make sure, like right now, I'll show you. We have 28,093. Okay. If I remove this, now let's look at it. 23,800. Do you see how much damage we got? So that's how you can tell if something is gonna buff, you know, if a support gem is gonna buff or not. So that's big. And then right now I have elemental focus. Deal 25% more elemental damage, cannot inflict elemental ailments. This is not inflicting the ailment. This is doing the damage once the ailment has been inflicted. And I have, like I said, ammunition, and then I have one more I want to throw on here. But as of right now, that is what I am running. All right, let's go over to the passive skill tree. When you ascend, you're gonna go up and grab Decimating Strike. This is huge. I was working on, I got to the 3rd floor of the Trial of the Sugmas, and got to room 3 and died. Like the 3rd round is so much harder than the first 2. But the good thing is I got a bunch of relic drops, so it'll be easier on the next time. I'll get a lot of honor resistance. But yeah, when you ascend, get culling strikes and decimating strike, huge. So you're gonna start on the tree. You're gonna come down and kind of let you copy, you know, just follow this. I'll have the build guide up, but you're gonna come down. This is what I have. Okay, get the crossbow damage, and then obviously you're gonna come down, follow that path, come down. There's some things I don't have yet. Okay, you're gonna want to come down and get some of this. I'm working on some new nodes. I don't want to give them away. I want to test them first. And then the biggest one is following this all the way up to get the herald damage, which is huge. You definitely want to come grab that. And as far as the gems, get the emeralds. There's some good stats on them. 14% increased lightning damage, 20% increased crossbow reload, and 11% increased magnitude of shock you inflict. That's huge. I also have another one here. Damage penetrates 10% lightning resistance. That's huge. 10% increased damage with crossbows. Huge. And then, you know, I mean, that's huge. I'm most likely going to be able to grab one more Joel socket here if I can get another 10% boost. And then there is one literally right here that I might grab for another 10% boost. I'm not sure yet. There's some things I want to experiment and try, so we're just going to have to go for it. But that's what I got for the skill tree. All right. And let's go over the gear. Now, if you haven't been on the PoE 2 trade website, you get the end game, you're kind of struggling, and you got some exalted orbs. Everything on the market board is just going for one exalt. Exalts are dropping like crazy. I wouldn't say like crazy, but it's very easy to get some exalts. Do a few map runs, you'll have a few. It's not an issue. And just buy equipment. Get crossbow, pump, just pump damage. Okay, so what I have is I have the rune that gives me lightning damage and physical damage. I'm probably going to make it double iron runes, which will give me 40% physical damage. I feel like that would scale more than the lightning damage. It's something I need to mess with. Okay, but you're gonna want to increase physical damage, add lightning damage if you want. +4 to all projectile skills is going to be huge. I believe it can go to +5. So if you max out your gems at 20 and you have that, you go to 25. That's going to be huge damage. Dexterity, I don't really need on there, and leech life. These are just what I have. If you can, the more damage modifiers you can get, the better. Let's look at the helmet. And so at the end game, you're going to need resistances. Mine are 47, 49, 46, and my chaos is 16. And I have a charm for chaos that gives me 18% chaos resistance when I'm hit from chaos damage. Now, I was dying a lot in maps, like dying all the time. I don't know if it's overtuned. I've seen a lot of people complaining about it. Resistances are big. Resistances are huge. They always have been in PoE. Now in PoE 2, guess what? It's the same thing. So I'm working on getting them up. But basically the rest of your armor, you're going to pump resistances where you can. I would get hit with poison and die literally instantly, or as soon as it started ticking. 2 shots from somebody that squirted poison at me, I was dead. Now that I have the 16% plus the 18, poison doesn't even affect me anymore. Like, that's how much of a difference it makes. But anyway, this is what I got on the helmet: armor and evasion, accuracy, life, mana, critical hit chance, dex, life regen. Now obviously I don't have any. I put a rune on there for 12% fire resistance, but obviously I'm going to want some resistance on the helmet. Same thing here: armor resistance, life, fire resistance, lightning resistance, life regen, physical thorn damage. We don't need that, so that's a stat we can get rid of. Let's look at the gloves. 1 to 27 lightning damage to attacks, accuracy, cold resistance, lightning resist, gain 2 mana per enemy. Now this build, once you're around the gem level I am, it's very mana hungry. So I was at like 470 mana, and I had to bump more because when I reload, it's like 100, 120, sometimes like 150 just to reload. And with the clips that go very fast, you're eating your mana. So that's what I have for that. My boots, I put a lightning resistance rune in there. Movement speed is huge. If you can get 25-30% movement speed, you're going to have a way better time. armor and evasion, mana, fire, cold, and lightning resist on this. Not bad. If you're looking for, like I said, just go on the trade website, type in the stat modifiers you're looking for. It'll show people, everybody just selling for 1 exalt. Literally, you can gear up so cheap right now. It just takes delay. You're going to be forever gambling, trying to get a drop, dropping. Okay, this has a good stat. Let me exalt. Oh, wait, it bricked it because I don't want that stat modifier. Then you use a chaos orb and it removes the wrong one and you just brick your shit. And you're like, well, back to grinding for 2 or 3 hours to get a piece of gear. Just go on the trade website. I'm telling you. Okay, belt. I've got armor, the flash recovery shit. Okay, I got lightning, and the big thing I wanted here was chaos resistance, and then 16 life regen is huge. Now my rings, I have a fire resistance ring. I don't need the chaos damage, so this is, you know, none of the gear is optimal. Okay, besides really the crossbow, but they can all be better. Again, intelligence, cold res, mana, accuracy, cold resistance. 39% increased mana regen is huge. You're gonna need it. Amulet, I've got 13 dex, accuracy, armor, energy shield. We don't really need that. Strength, cold res, life regen, and I think that's it, man. Flasks, I mean, you know, whatever you want to do with the flasks. But that's what I got so far, boys. That's what I got. Like I said, I'm level 73. I'm blasting through some maps, and it's really good. I was starting to struggle a little bit with clear mobs, and then I upgraded Herald Thunder, and it's been really good. So I will have the build guide up, linked in the description and in the comments. Let me know how you like the build. I see a lot of people using galvanic shards now with the shock burst rounds, but I don't see a lot of people using plasma blasts, and I'm trying to make, at least when I look at YouTube, I haven't seen anybody that's going to set it up quite like I have, where this is going to make like a 15-second shock and then just blast them down. So you know, I'm trying to get that out there. But anyway, you know the drill. Subscribe, come back, let me know how you feel about the build in the comments. See you on the next one.